Hi, my name is Jennifer. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to a very exciting book haul. First of all, apologies if I look a state. I am very, very hot. I am sweating cobs, as they say around here. But I have a very exciting book haul that I wanted to show you. So I think I have 12 books, 13 books here. A mix of books that I have got second hand, books that I have got new, some really exciting stuff, including one folio edition that I got second hand, and also 2 signed copies of books that I really, really love. First of all, so for the first time this year, I have been keeping track of all the books I am acquiring. Not library books, but books that I am buying or picking up for free or being gifted. The books that are coming to live on my shelves that I have been keeping a track of. And I think this is only the second book haul I've done this year, so I'll link the first one down below in case you didn't see it. So far this year I have acquired 19 books. In total I have spent £66.95 on those books, which on average works out at being £3.52 each. So some I will have bought full price, some second hand, and some cost me nothing. So I think we'll do the second hand ones first, because I always think those are most exciting. Should we start with a folio edition? So I got this folio edition of Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte for £3 from a second hand book fair. So this copy is from 1966. There is some wear on the spine there, as you can see. Other than that, it's in good condition. The pictures, let me find a picture. I won't be able to find one out over here. Oh, come on. The pictures are all sort of like, very like tortured pictures, as you can see. That's quite a good one. So yeah, so I was pleased to see this, only £3. I thought that was a bargain. I've read Jane Eyre several times. The copy I have here is like, just like a contemporary paperback. I think I probably have a copy at my mum and dad's that I read when I was a child. And Jane Eyre is probably one of the first classics I ever read, so I have read it several times. So I was pleased to pick up this folio edition for only £3. I'm not going to tell you what Jane Eyre is about. I'm pretty sure you will know. Next is a book that I got free in work. So there's various bookshelves around the place in work where people can leave books they don't want anymore and pick up books that they are interested in. And I have found some real gems in the past, including, which will be in my, did I get it last year or was it this year? No, it must have been last year that I got it, just consulting my list. A signed Sarah Waters I found there. Anyway, this one is not as exciting as that. But this is Agatha Christie by Lucy Worsley. So this is a biography of Agatha Christie. Agatha Christie is one of my favourite authors. I read all of her mystery novels when I was a child, and I reread them and I reread them, and I still enjoy rereading them today. I actually walked past this book, first of all, I think because I don't read a lot of non-fiction. So yeah, I saw it, walked past it, and then 5 seconds later, what went through my mind was, I do love Agatha Christie. I'd be interested to learn more about her life. I know I could get this from the library, but if I owned a copy, this is a book that I would probably read really quite slowly, like read a chapter every so often, and I'd probably be interested to do that and just have it as a really long-term book. So that was what went through my mind in those 5 seconds when I then turned around and picked it up. Still with the second-hand books, this is one that I found in that same second-hand book fair that I go to quite a lot. This is Lair by James Herbert. This is the second book in the Rats series. So there's a few books in that series. I read the Rats, I think maybe 2 Halloweens ago, and really enjoyed it. I remember at the time, as I was reading it, I mean, you can probably guess, the Rats, it's about like killer rats. I remember at the time reading it and thinking, there's a whole series of these books, but surely like, once you've read one book about killer rats, surely you've read them all. And I really do not read a lot of series like this. I read like murder mystery series, but in terms of like series where the story continues on, I very rarely read those. But anyway, when I got to the end of the rats, and I won't tell you what happens, but I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'd be interested in picking up the next one. So anyway, so I saw this in the book fair. I think it was £1. So I thought I would give it a go. And yeah, so I might read this in October for Halloween. I do like James Herbert. I've only read The Rats, I think, and Fog, which I really, is it called The Fog? I think it's called The Fog. I really, really like The Fog. That is a great book. But yeah, I might read at Halloween for some more killer rats. I'm not going to tell you what happens in the first book in case you want to read it. It would be a spoiler. But yeah, I'm expecting that to be rather gruesome. And then I picked up in a second-hand bookshop for £2 Hell House by Richard Matheson. The only book I've read by Richard Matheson is I Am Legend, which I really, really enjoyed. I've heard mixed things about this one actually. But this is one, when was this published? Because I've seen this in my local independent bookshop like recently. It's published in 2022. So it's about Belasco House, which has stood empty for over 20 years. And, its walls have witnessed scenes of almost unimaginable horror and depravity. And then there's an investigation which brings 4 strangers to the house, trying to uncover its secrets. And I'm sure some pretty gruesome, horrific stuff is going to happen. Another one probably for October. The next 2 books were kindly passed to me by Charlie from Charlie Brooke Reads, my lovely friend Charlie. The first is I'm a Fan by Sheena Patel. This is a book that I read a couple of years ago when it was on the Women's Prize long list, and I loved it. I read it on audio then because I couldn't access a physical copy at the time. I do really recommend the audio, I will say. I did think the audiobook was really excellent and I think it works well on audio. But I knew I wanted to read it physically at some point because I really did love it, and I'm still a bit of a novice when it comes to audiobooks, and I'm pretty sure there will have been stuff I will have missed. And yeah, Charlie knew how much I love this book and she picked this up for me. I believe she found it secondhand. And it is signed, so that's exciting. So I'm a Fan is about this woman who is unnamed, and it's about her recounting her feelings about this, how she feels about this man who is referred to in the book as the man I want to be with. And then we also have this man's other lover who she refers to as the woman I am obsessed with. It has a very strong and what's the word I mean? A very strong and bold voice. It's funny. It's like kind of outrageous in parts. It's a lot of fun. But very like, it looks at aspects of, if I remember rightly, like sexism and class and race and different things, in a really interesting way. So yeah, I will reread that at some point. And then for my birthday in April, Charlie very kindly sent me The Axeman's Carnival by Katherine Chidi. Katherine Chidi wrote one of my favourite books that I read last year, which was Pet. So The Axeman's Carnival, I've heard really good things about, and I'm pretty sure Mercedes really loved this book. All I know about this, it's about a magpie. So let's see, what's it about? Tanner the magpie is a helpless chick when he's rescued by Marnie. So I think it's about this relationship, but what this like magpie, how this magpie changes this relationship. I don't really know much about it at all. I don't really know what to expect from it, but I'm really looking forward to it because I did really enjoy Pet. I mean, this one sounds, from what I understand, like I feel like all of Katherine Chidi's books sound very different, even though I have only read one so far. But yes, looking forward to that. I should say this was the first of the like new books rather than the second-hand books, I believe. Yes. Next is a very exciting find. So you may be aware that I've only had one 5-star read this year, apart from a couple of rereads. But one like new to me 5-star book, and that book is Swanna in Love by Jennifer Bell. I did an individual book review video. I'll leave that down below. I absolutely loved it. I read a library copy, and it was in the back of my mind I'd quite like to get a physical copy. And then I found for £5 in the Brick Lane bookshop this copy of A Swanna in Love, and it is signed. So that's very exciting to get a signed copy of my favourite book of the year for £5. I thought that was an absolute bargain. So briefly, the book, it's set in the 80s, and it's about 14-year-old Swanna who is sort of being dragged around by her mother and the mother's new partner. And she meets this older man and sort of falls into a relationship with him. Swanna is a great character, like really funny, bold, outspoken, but the book, as you can imagine, looks at very difficult topics as well. I thought it was just outstanding. Next, I think I bought this book with a voucher that I won at my local bookstore. They were celebrating 50 years, my local independent bookstore, and they hid some vouchers, some book tokens, in books that had been first published in 1975. Anyway, I found one of them. It was in Salem's Lot by Stephen King, and with that voucher I bought The Extinction of Irina Ray by Jennifer Croft. So first of all, I love this cover, and this sounds really, really interesting. I know that Bob the Bookerer really liked this. It does sound like it's going to be a challenging read, like just in terms of being able to follow it and understand what's happening. So I'm going to have to choose my time well, I think, with this one. So this is about 8 translators who converge in a primeval Polish forest and work on the magnum opus of the world-renowned author Irina Ray. However, their plans take a dark turn when Irina mysteriously disappears just days after their arrival. So I think it's kind of like a bit weird. It looks at translation, obviously because the characters are all translators. Translation and language is something I am really interested in. I studied foreign languages at university. But yeah, I think I get the impression that it's going to be quite dense. I mean, the writing is also rather small as well. But I'm really looking forward to this one. So Jennifer Croft, have I read anything by Jennifer Croft? She's a translator as well. I think she translates from, is it Spanish and Polish? So yeah, I'm not sure if I've read anything she's translated. I feel like I might have done. But yeah, she's an author in her own right as well. She's translated some of Olga Tokarczuk's stuff. Yes, so looking forward to this one. Next is a book that I have really been wanting to read for years, and weirdly, like, my libraries never seem to have a copy. I don't know why. So I picked this up. This is The Red House Mystery by A.A. Milne. So obviously A.A. Milne, most famous for writing Winnie the Pooh. I really like this edition. And this is like a very well-known classic crime novel, first published in 1922. And as far as I know, it's sort of quite highly regarded. I think it's meant to be quite good. So it's set in this country residence where there's a murder and there's an amateur sleuth trying to solve the crime. It says what follows is a delightful whodunit with humour, excitement and a suitably surprising twist at the end. So that sounds really good. I'm really looking forward to that one. Okay, I also got The Unlit Lamp by Radcliffe Hall. I like the design of this cover. So Radcliffe Hall is, I think, most famous for writing The Well of Loneliness, which is here. It was one of my favourite books that I read last year. So this one I picked up just because I saw it in the shop. I feel like you don't see other books by Radcliffe Hall in the shops that often. So The Unlit Lamp was first published in 1924. It's a very, like, it feels like a very nice book to hold as well. So this is about Joan Ogden, raised in an unhappy home, large-boned and tall for her age, lanky as a boy, just dreams of escaping the limitations of village life. When Elizabeth Rodney arrives to teach the Ogden sisters, Joan finds herself falling in love. So yes, I'm looking forward to that one. And then the final 3 books. In a moment of weakness, I signed up for a book subscription service, Box of Stories. So I have subscribed to Box of Stories going back quite a few years now. But they've recently, I think, launched a horror box, and so I've subscribed to it. I don't think I'm going to keep subscribed for very long. So they send out a book every other month, and you get 3 books. The books are like new editions, as in they're not secondhand. But I think everyone that gets that month's box gets the same 3 books. It's $24.99, which I feel like is a little bit on the expensive side, I would say, for 3 books that you're not specifically choosing to buy yourself. So I might subscribe for sort of 2 or 3 months and then cancel. I am pleased with the books I got in the first box, although one of them I have already read, and that is Graveyard Shift by M.L. Rio. This is a book that I read as soon as it came out, got it out the library. So if I hadn't already read it, like, I'd be really pleased to see this in the box. I really like this cover. I didn't like the book that much. It just didn't quite work for me. It's about a group of people who meet up in this like graveyard at night, and even though I've read it, I can't tell you much more about the plot because I don't remember it. The blurb tells me they find a hole that wasn't there before, a fresh grave, but who dug it and for whom. So I don't know, but I don't know what to do with this, because I feel like, should I reread it? I only gave it 2 stars. I wouldn't normally bother necessarily rereading a book I've given 2 stars, but like, I can't just like acquire a book and immediately unhaul it. So I don't know. I need to find a home for that. The other 2 books I'm really keen to read. This is The Redemption of Morgan Bright by Chris Panattiere, and I feel like I heard someone talk about this, but I can't remember who. It's mixed media, which is something I sometimes quite like. It has like transcripts in it. Right, what's it about? So it's about Hadley Keene died on the road from Hollyhock Asylum. The reasons are unknown. Her sister Morgan blames herself. A year later, the case is still unsolved, and Morgan creates a false identity. I do love false identities. And checks herself in to the asylum. So it's set in the asylum, and she discovers that things are not as they should be. Sounds good. Looking forward to that. This is another book that feels very nice to hold as well. And then the final book I got in that box is Beware the Woman by Megan Abbott. I've read, I think, 3 books by Megan Abbott before, and I've enjoyed them all. Those were all psychological thrillers, I would describe them as, so I don't know if this is going to lean more into horror. There's one of the like author quotes on the back, and it's not clear if it's about this book or could it be about another book by Megan Abbott, because sometimes they do that, don't they, because they're sneaky. But it says, spectacular, kind of Rosemary's Baby meets Rebecca. And those are 2 books I really, really like. So I hope it is about this one. So let's remind ourselves what this is about. It's about a family holiday that takes a terrifying turn. So this is about a newly married couple who are expecting a baby, and they go to stay with the husband's father in his remote cottage in the woods. What could go wrong? And there's an enigmatic housekeeper. I mean, okay, so I'm guessing that's why it's getting compared to Rebecca and to Rosemary's Baby. Right, it makes sense. So it is describing this book. And then, yeah, I guess terrifying stuff happens. We'll see. I'm looking forward to it. So those are all the books I have hauled in the last, I guess, few months or so. Let me know if you've read any of them and what you thought. Let me know if you've bought any books lately. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Bye.